Damien was looking for a look here where these are overalls that have been rolled down, and they're not really reading like that right now. Um, so I was going to poke around with some ideas. First of all, I'm going to do mesh separate. Um, and I can see it looks like most of this is part of the model already. I'll select these edge rows. Just delete those. Yeah, the thing, this is not going to be any easy task. Just do shift period, which is the greater than symbol, and make that larger, that selection. For some reason it's not, so maybe if I select this and then grow that, that'll just deselect, oops, just control selecting those. Okay. Alright, so I'm just getting rid of what's there, and then let's select this edge and extrude, and go to world position and move that down, scale it out. And then I just need to merge those vertices. Some of these faces need to be reversed. Normals. Reverse. And then I need to go in and actually maybe I'll use bridge instead, see if that wants to work for me. I'm going to select that, shift select this one, and do edit mesh bridge. No, I don't know why sometimes that doesn't work. So instead I will go 2 pairs at a time and merge them. Or there's also the oh, because these are separate objects. Sorry, that's why that didn't merge. We can combine this if we want. I mean, that's why it's not merged. That's why the bridge didn't work. Let's try it now, I think. Yeah. Oh, except that had more divisions than I want. Edit mesh, bridge options. Just reset this. Oh, the default is 5. Okay, that's fine. I might take these 3 rows and convert. Just make sure I get the whole thing around. Convert that selection to vertices. Control right mouse click, 2 vertices, and then right mouse click, go down to paint, sculpt, click on smooth, flood. Maybe one less. Okay. So, anyways, could be better. I've got a decent connection there. So, now, always the first step to doing this is to look at reference. And I don't think that the rolled over thing needs to be the same, like seamless part of this body. I think that's going to make it harder to try and do that. So I would just make it a separate object, but let's take a look at some reference here. So I found this photo of someone where the top of the overalls have been rolled down. And, the first thing is, this is complex. Like, this is no easy thing to model. And I don't think there's going to be any, amazing shortcut here. So I think I might split this into one thing which will kind of represent part of it, and the sleeves that we'll try to twist around and do this too. And then maybe I'll treat some of this other stuff hanging down as separate objects. I think it's a bit of a divide and conquer situation because it's just so complex. So, and the thing to do is just always go back to your reference. So let's take a look. So I'm going to start with a probably with a polygon cylinder. Or should I just start with a pipe or a torus? Any of the above would work. I think I'm going to start with a pipe primitive. So I'm going to rotate this around. Actually, I'm going to hold down E and turn on discrete rotate, so it rotates in 15-degree increments. And let's move this up and adjust the thickness here. Decrease the radius. I'm holding down Control, so I get finer control while I middle mouse drag on these. Increase the subdivisions quite a bit, and scale that down. Again, that's representing this thing. So, okay, and then scale this in a bit. Kind of move it up. I don't know. This is just a starting point, and then I'll smooth it right from the start. I guess I just undid that. Maybe I'll make it, the smoothness kind of takes away some of the thickness, so I'm going to make it thicker first and then smooth it. Yeah, that works a little better. Okay, so there, I might just use some various sculpting kinds of things here. So, by the way, let's take this and put it in a layer and put that on reference so that I don't select it. And now I might grab some of these vertices in the back and hit B for soft select, hold down B, click and drag to reduce that area of influence a little bit. Then let's pull this out some back here, and let's make it, gonna select this and shift double click. Whoa, that picked the wrong direction for me. Okay, and maybe pull that up some to get some of that width. We saw in our reference image where it gets kind of bigger here. And yeah, maybe move that down a bit. And thinking that we're going to need more detail to get some of these sort of fold shapes, so I might insert an edge loop. So edit mesh. I guess mesh tools. Insert edge loop tool. Like there and there. Okay. And then maybe start sculpting a little bit. So right mouse click, paint, sculpt, and we'll have it on push. Probably a small max displacement. Right now I have it on 0.2. I don't really need reflection on right now. And the brush is too big. I'll hold down B, hold down B, click and drag, and that should make that smaller. I think 0.2 is going to be too big. I'm going to try 0.05. And that might even be too big. Make sure I have a real soft brush. Let's try that. Let's try 0.02. Yeah, that's a little more subtle. So, and I might end up smoothing this again when I'm done. So I'm just kind of pushing it. And this is to kind of get some... Oh, and right now it's set in the normal direction. So it's kind of push it all sort of in. If you wanted to go in a specific direction, you can choose X, Y, Z axis, but I think that's going to be tough here because you have to keep changing it. So, this is giving me a quick pass on kind of, I don't know, sort of like just messing it up a little bit to begin with. And then you might want to get real specific with like a crease here, so maybe I'll turn off soft select with B, select this, and I might take the whole thing and go back to that sculpt tool and give it like a smooth, flood the whole thing. Just, I got a little bit too chunky for me. I take an edge here, that one, shift double click, and I might push it in with the normal, so hold down W and click with my left mouse, go to axis, normal. Oh, sorry, it wants vertices for that. Just converting to vertices, there we go. There's the N on the normal, and I'll just push these in. And then maybe I'll take this next row up. If I hit the up arrow, if I'm lucky, it'll pick those. Good. Hold down W, go back to object. Maybe use a soft select just to get some, maybe not so big though. Maybe change this to world. And then maybe grab these. I'm going to go down, down, sort of move these up a bit. I'm going to reduce the size of that soft select. In fact, I'm just going to turn it off. It's really mostly, I don't want too much of a hard transition there, so yeah. Just doing smooth preview. Starting to get that idea of a crease, Probably going to end up needing more detail on this, and then yeah, maybe I really need to pull this down even further. Kind of, I might sort of just scale this out a little bit, and then pull it down more. Let's look at that smooth preview. Yeah, it's starting to get that feeling of sort of like a crease there, like something folded over something else. You might want to like change to render 2.0 because what? I don't know. Why is having a hard time with that? Yeah, it's sort of trying to do that. I think all these maybe could be pushed in a little bit. Use this push for those. Yeah, I might use the directions now. So x-axis, they might, when you want to flip it, it's like, if you look closely at this brush tool, you should be able to see a little arrow. I'll show which direction it's pushing, yeah. I'm just pushing in the X direction just to flatten that out a little bit. And this is, now I might switch, because I'm around the back, to the Z. Oops, wrong way, so let's just switch that. It's considered a pull now. Just seemed like it was sticking out too far. So, not in love with that, but, sort of getting that idea. I might continue that further. So very complex. I'm going to turn off soft select. I'm going to take this and do a edit mesh. Actually, what I think I'll do to keep this simple is I'm just going to delete a row of faces. I'll select one, shift double click on the other, delete. Then I'm going to grab this edge, Yeah, unfortunately, that's soft select is just going to get in my way on that other side. So what I'm doing is like I wanted to pull this out and turn off soft select. Unfortunately, is the object going to help me at all with the angle on this? Not really. Don't worry, we'll fix this in a minute. Um, this is like a make it up as I go along tutorial, so you're going to be a little patient with me on this. I'm just scaling these little flatter and thinner to kind of be more like the sleeve. Maybe rotate this guy a little bit. Oops. Then I'll double click these, extrude. Whoa, why is that? Let's try offset. Whoa. Oh yeah, that's doing more what we want. Yeah, maybe like an extra division or two in there. Okay. And then let's just W for move mode to move this. Rotate it. Push this back in a little bit. Yeah, let me B for soft select and let's grow that. That's not really doing it. Alright. I'm going to turn off discrete rotate there. Turn off soft select with B. Pull this out too far. Okay, getting there. Alright, and now let's extrude again. And I'm probably just going to switch this to world here. Let's make that nice and long because I'm going to try to do the, well, let's add a bunch of divisions. And then let's use a very handy twist. No, why aren't you working? I do not know why that doesn't want to work, because normally it does. Does that have to be? I don't know. I just don't know why that's not working. So I'm just going to grow the selection. That's the greater than symbol, shift period. And I think under animation, create deformers, nonlinear, do we have twist? And this will, do the same thing. Hey, look at that. More, less, something like that. And does this have any other clever controls on it to flatten the thing out a little bit? Not really. Okay, so then once we've got that sort of twist on there, let's delete history, edit, delete by type, history. And then I might select that same bunch of edges. I'm just going to grow my selection again. And I might use a lattice, Create Deformers lattice, to just flatten this out a bit, and then delete history off this again. And do my, actually I'm going to widen this a bit. I got a little flattened too much there. And then kind of move these back here. I'm going to have to sort of smooth this again and rough it up, but let's kind of leave it for now. At this point, it maybe twists again. It's such a complicated shape. It's sort of crazy. But yeah, let's just repeat that process. Let's move this. Ay. Okay, that's better. Add some divisions. And I think it's just kind of twisted here again, sort of. So I might just, actually I'll grab all these, grow selection, and then I'm just trying to think if it'd be easier to use the lattice or use that twist again. Let's try the twist again. Nonlinear twist, but I'm going to adjust these there's these controls here. Whoops, messed up my selection object mode again. If I click on this, oh, that controls the twist. What does this blue thing do? Oh yeah, this controls sort of the, how the sort of extent of the twist, like how, what area it affects. So I think that's all right. Maybe we want to twist a little bit more. And then I'll delete history again, edit, delete by type history, and then I'll put another lattice on this thing. Create Deformers lattice, and let's get some more divisions. And what is it, this direction? Yeah. Not too many though. And I'll right mouse click lattice points, and I'll go to my front view. And let's just take all of these, maybe these. And I'm in rotate, but I'm going to hold down D. Just drag this over, and then release. And then bend that down, so like something like that. Yeah, getting something, right? And then let's delete history again, edit, delete by type history. And I think we need to kind of mash this in again. I'll use the sculpt tool again. So that's the z-axis. So let's use z, and probably let's push. Make it a little bit of a bigger brush. Just kind of push that in, flatten that out a little bit. Not too far there. All right. And let's make this a little thicker, give this some thickness. So I'll do extrude and click on this guy and scale it in a little bit. Just so the sleeve has some thickness to it, and then extrude again and move that. Whoa. Yeah, it's tricky because it's at an angle. Okay. Okay. And then maybe if you want to do something for that cuff, I'll select this row, and actually, if I do shift right mouse click, oh yeah, I got extrude right there, and then just use the offset. Whoa! Why is that working so terribly? Okay, don't use offset. That works. Okay, that's kind of giving me that cuff a little bit. Maybe I could go a little bigger on that, but and then let's go ahead and smooth it again. Actually, if I'm gonna smooth it again, I'll need like some holding edges on this to hold its shape. I've got my insert edge loop thing right there, don't I? Why is that not working? Let's try the multi-cut. There we go. If I don't do these extra edges, that'll cuff will lose its shape, and that scale looks wrong. But anyways, you get the idea. So let's smooth it again. Hopefully, it's not too dense after that. It's pretty dense, but and then I think from here, that I got like sort of the basic structure. I would probably just goof around with sculpt from this point out. And maybe let's try just normal and push and just kind of push this in a little bit. It doesn't hurt to kind of, give it more of like a roughed up. I mean, it's not, I think you might need like another crease here, like I did on the other side, and maybe extend this crease further. Whoops, too far. Maybe decrease this. I'll go to 0.01. I'm just trying to make it a little more random. The only thing about this whole thing, though, is just as a word of warning, is like once you get into rigging to get this thing to like bend well with the body, is like it's kind of going to be challenging. So I don't know. It looks weird. I think I went overboard with some of this stuff. I might go back over this with some smooth and kind of, so it'll kind of, just literally smooth out some of what I did. Yeah, I mean, anyways, I hope this helped a little bit. I know, I think if I was doing it for real, I'd give it a lot more time. And I think some of this is, the sleeve part is starting to be somewhat successful. I feel like that twist doesn't quite, I think you're really going to have to get in there and model it more because I think that looks a little weird, but I think it's starting to look like a shirt sleeve. You know what I mean? That's been adjusted, so that's been twisted around. But again, I don't think we want stuff sort of sticking out so far. Yeah. I'm not really buying like this part of it so much. But maybe if that was bigger. I think it's too small right now. We can use a whoops. Sorry about that. I'm just growing this selection here. Um, well, anyway, I mean, to me, I don't know. It's what you're trying to do is just really hard, to get it to look believable. I'm frankly not thrilled with what I've done here. Um, but at least it gives you some ideas of where you could go with it. I mean, frankly, my biggest advice would be to say, do something simpler. Just because, I'm making this up as I go along, and I don't think it's been enormously successful, but at least it gives you some ideas of some tools you want to use. I think you need something else sort of crisscrossing and rolling around that, and it's a very complex thing to do, actually. That twisting and folding, creasing fabric. I mean, you could spend all of those kinds of time on this. So, anyways, I hope this was at least somewhat helpful. Frankly, my honest advice is come up with something simpler. I think this is it's very complex. But yeah, hope this helped showed you something anyway.